top team in USL Championship is certainly up for debate, but the conversation at this point in time revolves around two teams, Orange County SC and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. I'm happy to have you with us this evening alongside Manchester United legend Gary Bailey. I'm Joe Malfa. Tonight's match is presented by Sauvé Law Group, OCSC's official trust and estate law partner of the 2023 season. Gary, Pittsburgh comes into this match sitting atop the East, sitting atop all of USL Championship right now, 2 points better than Sacramento. And after a rocky patch in the middle of the summer with back-to-back losses, they've gotten right back on track with 3 straight wins.
They have, and a big reason for that is they have the best defensive record in the East at just 20 goals conceded, and they've started scoring goals at the other end as well. And look at this man, Chouamni up front, along with, of course, their top goal scorer, Albert Dikwa. What a combination they make.
And still, Conardo Forbes pulling the strings underneath all of them, the all-time assist leader in USL Championship with 6 on the season. You can rack up those assists when you're playing it forward to players like Chouamni, who's maybe under the radar because of Dikwa, but terrific in his own right.
Yeah, last couple of games he scored against Memphis and Indy, and as we saw, they had the assist for Dikwa in the only goal against Tampa. So he's really making a massive impact. Big player up front as well.
On the other side, Orange County currently sitting in 5th place in the Western Conference standings, presented by IPA Physio, the official physical therapy partner of Orange County SC. And they're as low as 5th because of a slow start to the season. They're as high as 5th, if you want to look at it that way, because of a torrid pace recently. 8 wins, 2 losses in their last 10 games, most points in the league in that span.
Yeah, you've got McNulty, you've got Milan Oloski, who's a wonderful player, top goal scorer from last season. A new coach, Morten Colson, who's had an incredible run since he's taken over. And they can score goals at both ends. They've got a bit of pace with young Bryce Jamison as well. So great talent in this Orange County lineup.
And one of the players who's come on strong as of late, tonight's player to watch, presented by Omega Accounting, is Tomas Amon, coming off a brace the last time out against San Diego.
Yeah, 2 goals against his former club helped Orange County to a 3-1 win, and they were well taken goals as well. Didn't celebrate out of respect for his former club, but he's a big, strong striker and a good goal scorer as well.
They hope he's doing some celebrating tonight, the fans here at Championship Soccer Stadium. You can debate it all you want. First place, second place in the power rankings. We'll find out on the field. Coming up next, Orange County, Pittsburgh Riverhounds here in Irvine.
From north to south,
east to west,
from Laguna Beach to Irvine,
de Buena Park a San Clemente,
and all 34 cities in between.
For the last 10 years, this has been
Orange County's own
entertainment, community,
Campeones, Colors,
Crest, Pro Soccer Club.
Orange County's own Community Kit.
A few years ago, I was making cabinets and somebody gave this idea like, hey, why don't you make your beautiful doors to fit IKEA cabinets?
You know, we care about everything that goes into making a door or a panel or a cabinet. Designing a kitchen or even remodeling it, it's a difficult process. We're here to kind of bridge that gap between the vision and realizing that goal.
We're able to make everything in-house, handmade, handcrafted, beautiful product.
Here in Irvine, there's something for everyone. You can satisfy your sweet tooth here or here. Cool off with freshly picked berries or catch some rays. Get some post-worthy views or rock out with your friends. Raise your adrenaline or just relax. It's master planned with you in mind. Irvine awaits.
This match is presented by Hogue, the official hospital and healthcare partner of OCSC. By Omega Accounting Solutions, your ERC and tax specialist today, your trusted advisor tomorrow. And by Sauvé Law Group, OCSC's official trust and estate law partners of the 2023 season. Time to meet the starting 11s tonight, brought to you by Kimco Staffing, and Morten Carlson makes a couple of changes to the 11 that beat San Diego 2 weeks ago.
Yep, 3 changes. In fact, Ryan Dogman comes in at left back for Alex Villanueva. Kevin Langford gets a start in place of Seth Kasipli, and Ashish Chatter in midfield. Brian Aloski drops to the bench, and that sort of 4-1 sort of lineup. Milan Aloski, number 7, will join among on a regular basis up front.
On the other side for Pittsburgh, it's par for the course for Bob Lilly. Continues to rotate game by game.
Yeah, he's on an average of about 4 changes per game. And this one, guess what? 4 changes. In comes Joey Farrell, Junior Eto at left back, Conrado Forbes, Ken Kenny there, and Tola Shawamni up front. And out go Pat Hogan, Langston Blackstock, Robbie Mertz, and Juan Obregon Jr.
The most recent power rankings that came out in USL Championship from our good friend Nicholas Murray had Orange County number 1, Pittsburgh Riverhounds number 2. Maybe it's something that's been up for debate the last couple of nights. The teams had some good fun with each other about it on social media, but at the end of 90 minutes, there may no longer be a debate. Not often you have it set up like this where you can settle it between the lines right away. Orange County winners of 4 in a row, Pittsburgh winners of 3 in a row. And we are underway here in Irvine. Orange County right to left in the orange as the sun sets here. And Pittsburgh left to right in the yellow and gray. Happy to have you along with us on ESPN Plus with Gary Bailey. I'm Joe Malfa. Week 24 of the season. Time running out for both of these teams to make their final pushes in the table, and only injury here on the Pittsburgh side. Arturo Ordonez slow to get up. He was clattered into by Ashish Chada.
I think there was a bit of a high boot there, and unfortunately for Ordonez, he was on the receiving end. Let's have a look at it again. Clash there, that's where that boot goes up. In fact, it's Thomas Among. He actually wins the ball in the end, so the question is whether it's a foul or not. Depends on the height of the ball. In fact, Joey Farrell seems to be the one who's shaking his head. Took the knock.
He looks to be ready to jog right back on as soon as he's waved on by the referee, Brad Jensen.
You were talking about the form of these 2 teams coming in. Another sort of way of looking at it. Orange County 7 wins from the last 8. Pittsburgh 5 wins from the last 7. I mean, they are 2 really informed teams. And what Morten Carlson has done since his taking over, it's nearly a miracle. They've gone from second bottom to where they are comfortably Orange County in a playoff spot. Of course, for Bob Lilly, they're sitting top in the East. And once again, he's done his magic as he seems to do every season.
Every year, you know Bob Lilly's Pittsburgh Riverhounds are going to be in that mix. The question has been, the last couple of years, why have they run out of steam late in the year? Why have they run out of steam then going into the postseason, falling short of their championship aspirations? Maybe this is the year they have the proper mixture to get all the way, peak at the right time, and take home that trophy. And they know it's an interesting stretch coming up where they're going to test themselves against their upcoming competition and learn a lot about themselves, especially on the road. We've got this one, of course, on the road tonight. And then from here, they have a road match against San Antonio lurking 10 days from now. It's not going to be easy.
It'll be a tough one, but we did ask Bob Lilly how he felt about those upcoming games, and he said, look, he had actually discussed it with the squad, and he said finishing top of the USL, not just top of the East, top of the USL, getting those home games is absolutely important, and he feels he does have the squad, to your point. So time will tell, but Shawamni up front, and they've got Keyser on the bench. Dick has been in great form. Robbie Mertz has come back to the club. I mean, it really is all coming together for them.
Colin Shuttler again gets the starting goal. He's been the guy since May after Cody Cropper retired for Orange County. He's not done a bad job, Colin Shuttler in goal. 14 starts, 16 goals allowed, nearly 70% save percentage with 6 clean sheets. Finally getting his chance to shine after he'd been a backup over the last couple of years. Last year to Patrick Rakowski, and this year until the retirement of Cody Cropper. Ordonez. Rivera. So many players in this Pittsburgh 11 that can play multiple spots, and guys on the bench that can come in and out and supplement as needed. We'll take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by Patterson Auto. What do you got for us, Gary?
Well, in terms of Orange County, and Morten Carlson saying he wants to forward press, that's been their style, and very, very direct. And when chatting to Bob Lilly, he says he thinks they should try and get balls in behind the back four. That's how they're going to break down Orange County. So that direct style of play by Morten Carlson's team is what has seen them shoot up the table. And in fact, Bob Lilly picked that out as well. One of his other comments was, we have to stop them in transition because they can be very quick. And of course, with Milan Aloski, very effective.
It's interesting, Morten Carlson took it a step further as this one's over the top and into the path of a charging Langford, but the flag comes up. He mentioned that while we're a very vertical team, on a night like this, he wants to see more horizontal play because Pittsburgh, as direct as they are and as forward as they like to get, in their five-back, when you play horizontally, he feels that's when Pittsburgh has opened up those gaps and allowed you to play through. So he said, on a night like this, we want to maintain our verticality, but be a bit more horizontal as the evening goes along.
It all sounds rather confusing to me. Are you vertical, horizontal? What do you want to do? I think at the end of the day, yes, it's nice to have a structure, but so much of it is about how players perform in their relative positions, what little skills they can do, and how they work with each other. And there's no question that Orange County have blended beautifully as a team under Morten Carlson.
Langford looking through for Aloski. Bob Lilly said you have to be aware of Aloski at all times. He's a guy who might have 3 touches in a given half, but 1 or 2 of those might be goals. All he needs is that one moment, and he'll make you pay. Golden Boot winner last year, and another 10 to his tally this year.
I think you could say the same for Albert Dicker on the other side. These are 2 fantastic strikers on both ends of the pitch, and Shawamni up to help Albert Dicker, and among with Milan Aloski. That's probably why both these teams are in such great form at the moment.
Over the top toward Amang. The other reason for the great form on Pittsburgh, their defensive capabilities, leading the league in clean sheets, second in the league in goals conceded. In an era where so much of the emphasis is placed on free-flowing football and scoring goals, Gary, the top 2 teams in terms of goals conceded are Pittsburgh and Sacramento, and those are the 2 teams who are top of USL Championship right now in terms of the points.
And what they do so well, Pittsburgh, as you said, they allow the opposition so few chances against Hartford. Hartford 0.34 was their expected goals. They really tighten them down. Even then, that's good. When they beat Tampa Bay 1-0 at home, Tampa Bay 0.21 expected goals from a team who normally bang in goals for fun. So when you're that good at restricting the opposition, it gives your strikers a chance to score 1 and win a game, or score 2 and comfortably win a game. And that's what's been happening majority of the time for Pittsburgh this season.
Dogman getting the start on the left side tonight over Villanueva. All the way back for Dylan Powers, and he'll settle it along the back to Marcus Nakim. Powers looking through. Kyle Scott from Milan Aloski. Led the whole way defensively by Etu. Gathered by Orange County. Direct in nature, but not afraid to do this. Spend some time on the ball and build out through the lines. Powers dummied through by Aloski, nobody in behind. He had some words with Amang after the fact. He thought Amang was going to pinch into that space. Possession given away.
See Orange County just sitting in their own half, not bothered that Pittsburgh have the ball until they get near the halfway line. So defensively in that mid-block.
All the way out to Canardo Forbes. Overlap coming from Etu. Forbes finds Etu, put in front, bouncing around, and a corner on the way for the Riverhounds.
Yeah, it's interesting, Etu at left back, or left wing back. He's normally a midfielder. And Danny Rivera was at left wing back, and as you said, he's very flexible. Now he's back to right wing back, so Bob Lilly does certainly move his players around, test them in different positions. But always you get King Kenny just sitting in that midfield attack position where he's so good.
As Brad Jensen comes in to have a word with some players who are a bit out of line. It's a good time to talk about how a colleague of ours, Devin Kerr, would always joke that you can have a goalkeeper become a Golden Boot winner and a Golden Boot winner become a Golden Glove winner under Bob Lilly. That's the type of coach he is, not afraid to take you, play you out of position, and get the most out of you. Corner kick brought to you by True Path Loans, first of the evening for Pittsburgh. Forbes drives it near post, and it comes all the way through for Danny Rivera to keep alive. Rivera's secondary service in the arms of Shuttler.
There was a good corner coming in the first one. There were so many bodies at the near post, and that flick on could have gone anywhere. And then Ordonez winning the header back, just couldn't get enough power on it. And that's the danger that Pittsburgh bring. Good quality set pieces. Look at the high press here, looking for any turnover ball, and they nearly got it there.
Now they do get it, only for a moment. One back by Dogman. Some early warning shots, though. And the press from Pittsburgh, it's not going to be easy to play through them. We also get an interesting case of rest versus rust in this one. It's been 11 days since Orange County played San Diego. It's only been a couple of days since Pittsburgh took on Hartford over the weekend, and then they had to travel cross country. With the time off for Orange County, while they enjoyed it, according to Morten Carlson, it didn't really come at a great time. He wanted to remind the group this past week how good it felt to beat San Diego the last time out, to try and get them back in that mindset, back in that rhythm that they were enjoying. Again, 8 wins in 10 matches before they had that 11-day span without a game.
And I like something he said. We're just talking to him about travel, and I think you asked the question, Pittsburgh, they've traveled across the country. Are they going to be tired, etc.? He says, I don't care about travel. He says, you know, you play a game of football, whether you travel, whether there's a time difference, just get on and play the game.
Rivera to the back post. And it's off the head of Owen Lamb, and out for another corner. Gives us a chance to take a look at tonight's injury report, brought to you by Zulfgari Law. Simple, none reported for either side, and we hope it stays that way. It's nice to see this late in the season that both teams are reporting nothing. Ilalo Samanu is getting back on track and back to training for Pittsburgh. That was the one lengthy injury they had endured. Bob Lilly actually made specific note of that as far as why they are where they are in the standings. Knock on wood, they've stayed as healthy as they've stayed. Forbes toward goal, punched away by Shuttler, put back in front and skied in the end by Farrell. Pardon me, by Arturo Ordonez, getting in the thick of things.
This is another fantastic near post corner, similar to the previous one. It's difficult to come over the top there for Colin Shuttler, and the ball then recycles straight back in. Look at this, coming over so many bodies, most of which are his own, and that comes across Ordonez, trying to hook it with his left foot, but again, those sort of set pieces are extremely difficult to deal with, and Orange County got away with that one.
When struck that well, Gary, is that the most difficult corner to deal with as a goalkeeper, that one with pace to the top of your 6 at your near post?
Yeah, I think so personally, because you're coming over so many heads, and if anyone gets a touch just before you get there, you're in no man's land and you're completely dead. So I actually prefer to have less of my players in front of me, because you have to get through your own players first. So I'd rather they gave me space to come and attack the ball, but obviously every goalkeeper has their own preferences.
At 2, Forbes. Orange County felt he was offside, but the flag stayed down. Here's Danny Griffin making his 100th USL Championship regular season appearance tonight. Tip of the cap to Griffin. It's mostly been as the focal point of the Pittsburgh midfield for the years now. Had a brief stint away from the league earlier this year with Huntsville City FC of MLS Next Pro, and look out here as Among is taken down by Farrell. This is our first yellow card. Pittsburgh went ahead and reacquired Griffin middle of spring, and he has started every game since then.
I think they've all been consecutive as well. Griffin, he's been an amazing professional. Have a look at this. It's a little bit late, but that's the standard for a yellow card, which is fair enough from referee Brad Jensen. then every other tackle that makes that sort of fringe contact has to be a yellow as well. I'm not saying it's not a yellow, it's a low bar for a yellow, the way I see it.
Think it was more for the contact or more for stopping a transitional attack?
Could be either or, but there were players covering as well, so it's not like he's a last line of defense. Well, I'm just thinking there'll be a lot more tackles like that throughout the game, and you know, the referee's going to then stick to the sort of rule that's what the limit is for a yellow card.
That yellow was brought to you by SoCal Gas. We'll see if we see more of those tonight. You know, it's going to be intense between these teams. Neither wants to give an inch. Getting to the home stretch of the season, single-digit games remaining for these sides after tonight. Another heavy challenge. This time it's Ordonez. And with the precedent set from a moment ago, you wonder about this one, but Jensen looks like he'll keep the cards in the pocket this time.
Well, this one he wins the header, so have a look at this. Unless he leaves an arm flailing, so he leads with the left arm. Maybe that's what it is. I think he won the ball fairly, but there's a leading left elbow, which again, to your point, could very well be a yellow card. In fact, more so for me, because you can do a lot of damage with a leading elbow. But not easy being a referee. I mean, we can sit here and look at replays, and you know, for Brad Jensen, he's got to make an immediate, quick decision, and it's so difficult to get it 100% right every time.
That's why you and I got our refereeing licenses, but instead opted to be up here in the booth.
Yes. I just didn't fancy that constant abuse throughout the match. I really respect the referees, and you know, whatever decision you give, almost certainly one team's upset and one manager's upset, and to do that for 90 minutes takes a very strong character. So credit to all the referees in the USL and elsewhere.
Quarter of an hour gone here in Irvine. Scoreless between Orange County and Pittsburgh, and what very well may be the game of the week here in week 24. Number 1 and number 2 in the most recent power rankings. Orange County number 1, Pittsburgh number 2. Although Pittsburgh's number 1 in all of USL Championship right now, in terms of the points and in the race for home field advantage throughout the postseason.
There's something else about both these teams besides their record is they're both bounced back in games where they've been behind. Orange County were behind against San Diego in the last match, came back to win it 3-1. They were behind against Memphis. They won that 4-3. And Pittsburgh, they were behind also against Memphis 2-0 and came back to win it 4-2. So strong characters behind these teams, and no matter which team falls behind, assuming one does, they'll keep calm, and both teams will keep on playing their soccer.
At 2. Won by Owen Lamb, and he continues up the right side. Chata. Curious to see how Langford gets on in this starting 11 for Orange County. It's his first start since he joined on loan. 2 previous appearances off the bench for a grand total of an hour. Just joined on July 25th. On loan for the rest of the season. Langford, the 24-year-old from Germany, described as a dynamic forward who could play anywhere on that top line, but predominantly comes off the right side. So an already hot, talented team adds another tool into the toolbox that can help them on their way. Dikwa. Rivera. Danny Rivera, and nowhere to go, and it's out of play. Cabanas are back again for the 2023 OCSC season, so don't miss out on all the fun and exclusive amenities they have to offer. These cabanas were designed specifically with group outings in mind and include 20 match tickets and a private bar for you and your guests. Book your premium experience today at orangecountysoccer.com/premium. Private bar sounds nice. Cutting upfield, Kyle Scott.
It's that high press again from Pittsburgh. A lot of yellow shirts and the opposing half of the pitch, but of course dangerous on the counter-attack. Unfortunately for Orange County, bad pass by Milanolowski, but if he gets that pass right, Pittsburgh were in trouble there.
And those are the moments, if you're playing Pittsburgh, that you can't squander, because you don't know how many of those you're going to get against the defense as buttoned up as Bob Lilly's. Over the top again toward Olaski. And Jamali Waite has it. Olaski tried to jump in the way and then roll out to the right side for Rivera. He got up there pretty high.
Now, is that a yellow card? For contact after the ball? Difficult being a referee, isn't it? But in that case, Kyle Scott gets off with just a warning by the looks of it. There's definitely contact after the ball. Let's have a look here and see how bad the contact is as Rivera plays it. Right on his toe. For me, that's a yellow card then, if the previous one was. Again, who'd want to be a referee?
Not me. Only yellow so far is still to Joe Farrell. The center back position for Pittsburgh. It's the last place you want to have that yellow card already on the field this early in the match. Especially when you have your hands full with Hamang and Olaski coming your way all evening long. You have to think twice about some of the challenges you make.
It's a very fair point. Never like to see defenders on a yellow early in a match, especially the likes of a Joey Farrell, who's quite a combative centre-back. He likes to get stuck in, let strikers know he's around. Well, as you mentioned, he can't do it anymore now in case he just gets the timing wrong, and then will be the second yellow and off.
Shuttler through the middle. They've had some trouble playing through this Pittsburgh press, but it's broken now by Hamang. It's Scott. Partita, the anchor in the midfield in this 4-1-4-1 of Orange County. Owen Lamb. We have another piece available off the bench tonight. A little early to be talking about that for Orange County, but some big news. Yesterday they took Cameron Dunbar on loan from Minnesota United. More on that in a moment. Here's Shawunmi. Oh, Shawunmi shepherded away by Partita. Etu, end line, and cleared. One back by Canardo Forbes. Griffin, Forbes. Etu, Partita was right there on his hip. And now it's cleared to safety. Cameron Dunbar has been with Minnesota United this year. Played 9 games in MLS Next Pro, the 3rd Division League, with 5 goals. He has 3 appearances in MLS with Minnesota. But if the name sounds familiar, Cameron Dunbar, it's because he was in USL Championship last year with Los Dos, and in 33 starts for LA Galaxy 2, he scored a dozen goals. Talk about adding Langford and him getting his first start tonight. Now you add Dunbar, already a team that is 8-2 in the last 10. And number 1 in the power rankings. This is starting to feel awfully similar to 2021, where they started adding pieces late. They were peaking at the right time, and they added a star above the crest. I don't want to get too far ahead, but that's the pieces they're adding right now, and it's starting to almost mirror that year a little bit to get some fans giddy.
Well, they had a wonderful striker in Ronaldo Damos that year.
Giveaway here, played through for Dikwa on the right foot. Albert Dikwa, it's deflected and saved by Shuttler.
So dangerous, Dikwa, isn't he? No wonder he's one of the top goal scorers, 3rd at the moment in the USL. Just makes that angle for the shot, but as you say, just gets stopped and the power taken off it. Again, picking up those turnover balls. They're so good at that, Pittsburgh. Just nothing on that shot from Dikwa, but we were just talking about other options. The one I'd love to see for Orange County is Bryce Jamison, the 17-year-old. I think he is a bit like a Ronaldo Damas. He's a player who's just improving game by game, and his pace is phenomenal. So excited to see him hopefully come on in the second half for Orange County.
Dos Santos. Early going, possession 60-40 in favor of Orange County. Still without a shot. 3 shots, 2 on target though for Pittsburgh. At 2. Feels like every game Pittsburgh's been in this season for the most part has been a one-goal game and a low-scoring game at that. So many 0-0s, 1-0s, maybe get a shootout and get up to 2-1 in a Pittsburgh game this year, but they don't give you much, and they're efficient on the attacking end. Rivera has some options located centrally and sends it that way. Headed away by Dylan Powers. Griffin regathers. Forbes. Griffin. And Forbes again tried to squeak it through for Griffin.
I was talking to Bob Lilly about those 1-0s, and he says, you know, you can't go into the playoffs winning 1-0 and hoping to hold on to it. He said against good teams, they can come back and score late. And he said he felt a lot more comfortable winning games 2-0, 3-0, and promptly went and beat Hartford by 2-0. So he got what he wanted from his team with that match. But in the previous game against Tampa, 1-0, he said he was happy, but just felt towards the end that it's a risky score to have if you're going to do that in the playoffs.
Mark Ibarra looking for Shawunmi. That little rough patch they had, losing back-to-back games against Charleston and Indy, he attributed to all those 1-0s they had consecutively. Felt they got into cruise control and just let their guard down a little bit. Charleston came out in that match, scored a couple of early goals against them, and it took them about 2.5 games to fully recover from that before they came back 2 games later and beat Memphis. And that was the wake-up call they needed. Like, hey, it's not going to be 1-0 every game. You can't just that easily get through the rigors of a season and get to a championship. Wake-up call they needed, and they've rattled off 3 straight wins since then.
Again, away from home, and it's been mostly Pittsburgh. There's been a couple of little moments for Orange County. We're talking about Orange County being the informed side in the USL, and Pittsburgh so far created the better chances, threatened, and really putting the pressure on at the moment.
Forbes headed centrally towards Shawunmi. Shuttler has it lined up and has it in his hands. Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit www.us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. County Line Coalition in full voice tonight. Another good crowd here in Irvine. By the way, elsewhere, 20 minutes to go. San Antonio is up 2-1 on RGV, the only other match tonight across USL Championship. Early goal for RGV, but yeah, San Antonio roared back.
We just said we were watching that before this game. We both said RGV might have gone 1-0 up, but all they've done is upset San Antonio. But RGV really, as we get towards the end of the season now, the likes of RGV, teams that are just below the playoff line, really have to put a run together. And so the pressure starts to build. Every match they go without getting 3 points, they slip further and further behind that playoff line.
It's maybe the biggest compliment, or among the biggest compliments you can give a team. As soon as RGV scored, you and I looked at each other and said, well, that's good for San Antonio. And sure enough, a couple of quick goals from San Antonio.
Well, they are the reigning champions.
For a very good reason. Tikwa. Intercepted by Scott. That was where they run into trouble, however. Once they recover it in their own end, how do you get it across midfield through this Pittsburgh press and create something for yourself? Partita. Owen Lamb. Kyle Scott looks fresh out of answers. Shrug of the shoulders, looking for some support. Finally, it's ahead now to Dogman. The flag stayed down. Dogman end line puts it in front and puts it beyond Amang, but it's saved there by Chana. In front for Amang, saved by Waite, and the rebound is sent to the parking lot. Offside flag came up anyway at the end there. Out of nowhere, something for Orange County.
Absolutely, great ball on the line for Dogman. I'm just wondering when the offside came, if it's at the very end, then there's a chance. This ball here has got to find Amang, and it does, and it goes behind him. When it comes back in, Amang gets a contact, and a fantastic save from the goalie, and that's just, as you say, whacked absolutely wide, but good save from Jamali Waite. Have a look here, there's the header. Stretch with that right arm, puts it out, and I assume that's where Dogman was offside. An If so, then that's a really good chance for Orange County.
First shot on target of the match belongs to Thomas Amang on the Orange County side. Maybe he's picked up right where he left off. The brace last time out against San Diego. Jamali Waite has proved time and again last season and this season that he's creeping into the upper echelon of goalkeepers in this league, and it's why he got a call up to Jamaica at the Gold Cup, made one start in their group stage.
Yep, 6 clean sheets in his last 9 appearances, so any goalkeeper would be happy with, you know, 2/3 of your games being clean sheets.
And when Andre Blake is the goalkeeper in front of you for Jamaica, he's been one of the top goalkeepers in the entire region over the last few years, whether it's been with Jamaica or in MLS, a 3-time goalkeeper of the year with Philadelphia. That's who Jamali Waite got the start over in the group stage in Gold Cup. Rivera to Forbes, squared back to the top of the area, and it's blocked before it gets to Shuttler. Nakim got in the way of it. Ordonez now. Dos Santos. Forbes has it after Rivera misjudged it.
By the way, I think that was Danny Griffin with the shot, and that was heading towards the back of the net, but for some good defending from Orange County again. Conrado Forbes with that vision to find Griffin. Here it is, he turns quickly, head up, he's looking, finds Griffin there, and he's sort of heading towards that far post, and the defender gets a big boot in the way.
It would have been interesting for Shuttler, to say the least. Might he have stopped it? Perhaps, but we'll never know. Dequa. Shot of handball as it popped up into the chest. Partita and sent the other way.
Again, Orange County, look at them in the sort of low to mid block, just letting Pittsburgh have the ball in their own half, and odd player, in this case Thomas Amang, having to do a bit of work closing down, but it's as if they're saying, we'll sit back and let you attack us and we'll try and catch you on the counter attack.
Pulaski, Scott, first time in 10 years that Pittsburgh has ventured into Southern California for a match like this. They met last year, these teams, but it was at Highmark Stadium in Pittsburgh.
I believe that match was on May 5th, 2013 against a team called LA Blues.
It's been a while.
Before my time here, so LA Blues. I'm not so sure it's a great name for a team. Sounds like you're always playing badly, but that's it, you're right, 10 years.
It's almost before my time on this earth. Foul goes against Orange County, and OCSC returns to the champ on Saturday, August 19th against the Charleston Battery for our end of summer beer fest. Several sections have already sold out. Get your tickets today at orangecountysoccer.com/tickets. Morton Carlson joked with us that he just this week learned the English phrase measuring stick, and that's what these next couple of games are going to be for Orange County. He said he didn't want to come across as arrogant in saying this, but they already know they're good. They know their place in this league. They're a good team, but going up against Pittsburgh and Charleston back-to-back, two of the best teams from the Eastern Conference, would give them a good sense of where they're at in the grand scheme of the league, rather than just the confines of the Western Conference.
100%, and I think Sac Republic is the match after that, so it's 3 really, really tough games, and as you said, good games to be measured against.
Griffin at 2, drives it in. Shuttler has it.
Doing a lot of defending at the moment, Orange County. We're not seeing much of Thomas Amang and Milan Oloski up front, even Kevin Langford. They've all been having to get back and do defensive work. But again, we're talking to Morton Carlson. He says this team, they can fall behind, they can have less possession. He says, but they're confident that when they get chances, they will take them, and they can win matches from any position, be it defensive or attacking. And it's a great sort of belief and feeling to have in any team, and certainly Morten Carlson believes Orange County have that.
Belief was the operating word. You and I had asked him the biggest difference that he sees in this team from when he took over in May to what we've seen now over the last 10 matches. And maybe you could have answered something tactical or something in the form of one player here, one player there. No, immediately his response was between the ears. He said the belief of this team is off the charts, and that is what has propelled them to this successful stretch. Among slow to get up, but finally does. Jogging it off gingerly as he gets back into the box. Finally broke out last year, Among, with 11 goals for San Diego. Has 5 now this year, and 2 of them came last match. They can get him going in the right direction, recapturing some of that San Diego form down the stretch. That's what Morten Carlson is hoping for, and why he gets his only 5th start of the season tonight. 11 of his appearances had come off the bench coming into the evening. Chip toward Amon. Farrell under it. Header away. As far as that too, they got to play for an Orange County throw.
To be fair to Thomas Among, that header that forced that really good save from Jamali Wade was a very good header. And I presume he was onside and Dogman was off. We never had confirmation if that was the case, but if so, it was a one really good chance for Orange County. And given his 2 goals in the last match against San Diego, very much the informed striker on his side along with Milan Oloski.
It's another one of those nights where we haven't said the name of Milan Oloski, but to Bob Lilly's point, that could change at a moment's notice. Scott. Relentless in the pressure. Dequap is forcing Scott right and left. He's begging for people to come help him out. Still is. Look at the body language right there from Kyle Scott.
I think it's also a testament to the good pressure that's coming from Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Putting a lot of work and effort. Now, the question is, will that tie them down towards the end of the game? I mean, with 5 subs these days, you can afford to have your strikers run themselves into the ground, and then Bob Lilly will bring on changes 60th minute. He's got some really good changes to come off the bench as well if he wants. So fresh legs, we're bound to see them. And certainly Edward Keyser up front. One Obregon Jr. would be 2 likely replacements if they need to replace Shawami and Dikwa.
That's maybe the biggest asset of this Pittsburgh team this year versus past years. The names you just mentioned available to come off the bench. Throw in Robbie Mertz as well. It's such a deep team. Bob Lilly has always liked to tinker with the lineups and the formations and rotate players, but maybe at times in doing so, he's put out a player or 2 who have only a few appearances on the season and maybe aren't guys you consider starters. You could make the case that this team has 16, 17 viable starting options that he can line up any way he wants on a given night.
And that's after losing 2 great strikers in Russell Cicerone, who's near the top, and Alex Dixon. Amazing how Bob Lilly does it year after year.
Here's Rivera, one of the glue pieces from this team over the last few years. Play anywhere you need him to, and he can play big minutes, but he's called for the foul this time. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2023, whether your club is on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of the USL Championship on ESPN+, home of the USL, La Liga, Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Ten minutes to play in San Antonio. In the Copa Tejas battle, it's still San Antonio 2, RGV 1. Langford gives it away. Regathers for Partida. For the time being, with San Antonio's lead over RGV, San Antonio would go top of the table in the West, and they would also be only 2 points back of Pittsburgh, but with 2 games in hand for the overall race for the top spot in USL Championship. So if you're a Pittsburgh fan tuning in, you were hoping RGV, perhaps in a rivalry game, could have knocked San Antonio down a peg or two tonight. Doesn't seem to be the case, at least to this juncture. Rivera, back for Shuttler. Well, Bob Lilly would love to have this Pittsburgh team earn the top spot in the league. At the very least, you know, he wants the top spot in the Eastern Conference. The difference between first and fourth place is maybe 3 home games versus 1, and that's drastic in the pursuit of a championship.
Yeah, especially given their home record, Pittsburgh this season. I think it's just the 1 loss, a whole bunch of wins. So if he can get Tampa Bay at home or Charleston, he'd be very happy.
Bounces through for Milanowski! When he's quiet is when he's most dangerous. On his first shot of the game, he has his 11th goal of the season, and Orange County's ahead.
Brilliant finish from Milanowski. Does it time and time again. He brings that ball under control really quickly, then to slot it past Jamali Wade with such precision. And they've struggled throughout this half here, Morten Carlson's side. They've really been on the defense, and we've said they're going to counter-attack and take the opportunities. Here's the ball played through, and it's a simple ball. A little bit unlucky, to be fair. Bounces off the back of Ordonez, but Milanowski is so quick to control it, get it onto his right foot, and tuck it into the far corner. It's a clinical finish, and comes from a simple long ball played from the back, I think from Owen Lamb. Great finish for Orange County, and they've soaked up the pressure and they've countered in style.
It's amazing how he does it and how he has now for 2 straight years in this league. It's exactly what Bob Lilly said. You cannot lose track of him for a moment. He can have a couple of touches and a half and be doing absolutely nothing, which is basically what he had been doing for 40 minutes. And then he pops up there and scores the goal, and that's all that matters.
That's a tough one as well. Ordonez, I was looking at his body language. He'd sort of turned his back to the ball, and it hits him on the shoulder, and I wasn't quite sure of his body position in the middle of that. But as it drops, Milanowski, 1 touch onto his right foot, bang, back of the net. So clinical. Brilliant, brilliant striker. And now more work for Pittsburgh to do. They've done so much work. They've had by far the better chances, but they haven't had that clinical breakthrough that Orange County have managed to create.
With 5 minutes to go to halftime as well, that's a backbreaker if you're Pittsburgh, especially when you consider their marks this year when scoring first and when leading at the half. Pittsburgh this season, 11-0-2 when they get the first goal, unbeaten, and 7-0-1 when they lead at the half. You flip that on its head when Pittsburgh concedes first this year, 2-4-2. When they're trailing at the half, 2-3-2. They have had some comeback victories. You mentioned the one earlier against Memphis. They're not complete strangers to doing it, but they're much better front runners and playing with the lead than they are coming from behind.
A little bit of discussion there as to why that free kick was given against Pittsburgh, but it all seemed to get resolved in the end. I do think even though they're 1-0 down Pittsburgh, they know how good they are. They know they have good options coming off the bench. I don't think this will derail them at all, but it will be frustrating given that they will feel they have created the better chances.
Only their 21st goal conceded on the season. Corner on the way for Orange County. Brought to you by True Path Loans.
Fans, get up and get loud. It's an OCS.
I guess as sharp as Milanowski has run the goal, so too is Albert Dikwa. So I think Orange County can take anything for granted while Dikwa and Shawami on the pitch.
Corner served up, top of the 6, flicked on by Ordonez. Well done by Scott just to knock it out of play. Dikwa had eyes for a sprint ahead, and that's when Pittsburgh can be very dangerous, getting out and running off a defensive set piece. Those are the bits of play that don't go down under any statistical category, but what Kyle Scott just did right there is something that'll draw him some praise when the boys gather either tomorrow or Friday and review this game.
Yep, I agree with you. It's very good tracking back, and it just kills the momentum of that attack. Stone dead, and now a lot of work for Pittsburgh to get the ball forward. Good pressure coming from Orange County. We haven't seen much of that in the opponent's half, but maybe they now got a little bit of extra energy in their body. Now they're 1-0 up.
Owen Lamb. Among. Contact there both ways. Play on in the eyes of Brad Jensen. Having a look over the shoulder to see if those players get up and what the aftermath is. In the meantime, Griffin is it out to Etu. Forced out toward the corner. Etu taken down, free kick. And now Jensen will jog back up the field. Among is still down for Orange County.
If you're just asking if he wants any treatment from the sideline. Didn't see much contact, but maybe Thomas Among feels differently. Nonetheless, it's at last chance just before halftime. It's a free kick right in that corner. Conrado Forbes, no doubt, will take it, whip it in. Maybe he'll go near post again. So some work for Orange County to do here defensively before they get into the locker room.
Forbes didn't quite have it where Brad Jensen wanted it. Now he does. One last chance in this first half. Forbes had it knocked away. Rivera couldn't make anything of the rebound. It's an Orange County throw.
There was a little chance for Rivera to have hit that on the half volley as it dropped. Have a swing at it because he had a bit of space to work in, but tried to bring it under control and didn't. But again, another ball whipped into that near post, and this time Orange County had someone available to head that clear.
Only 1 minute was tacked on. That minute has come and gone. All the way back for Jamali Waite, and there's the whistle to end half number one. Power rankings had Orange County atop the league, Pittsburgh in second, and right now it's Orange County ahead of Pittsburgh in this 1 through 45.
Yeah, not much that Jamali Waite could do with that finish from Milan Oloski. Among here seems to be a little bit upset with that late tackle we saw a couple of minutes ago. But tough one for Pittsburgh. They've created a ton of chances around the edge of the box. They've threatened here both sets of players trying to pressurize the referee, which I don't enjoy. I think referees shouldn't be approached at all because everyone's upset at some stage in the match. But it's just perfectly poised for a great second half.
Well, these fans aren't upset right now. They are happy with the 1-0 lead for Orange County going into the break. Winners of 8 of their last 10 and 4 in a row. Can they make it 5 in a row? Ahead on Pittsburgh. More to come here from Irvine.
Patterson Kia, where it's all about you.
I'm John Patterson from the all-new Mission Viejo Kia, and we're celebrating August with the new Kia Forte lease for as low as $195 a month, only at Patterson Mission Viejo Kia. Visit the largest Kia service center in Orange County at Mission Viejo Kia. No appointment necessary, award-winning customer service, and available service loaners today. Experience the difference at Mission Viejo Kia, where it's all about you.
Patterson Kia, where it's all about you.
At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there's no one better at getting you back to you. Orthopedics and spine, it's all we do.
So we're getting that house we told you guys about.
You're buying a house?
Yeah. Soldiers get VA loan guarantees.
Yeah, no money down.
Well, my office gives us free bagels.
That's cool.
Yes. I'll get you the file.
Sounds intense.
Clients. What do you do?
Retired?
Tech?
Nah, Army.
Huh. Check your spam folder.
One of the main treatments we work on with the players is treatments that focus in on lower extremities. We want to make sure that we maximize flexibility and minimize stiffness in the hips and legs. During the session, we incorporate stretches, IASTM, percussive therapy, and cryotherapy. The session is really tailored to the needs of the athlete being treated.
Recovery is a crucial part of every athlete's performance.
We're excited to be working with OCSE again to help the team recover throughout the season.
Championship Soccer Stadium, home of the 2021 USL Championship winners, Orange County, and also home of maybe the best sunset views in the league. Maybe Louisville's got something to say about that, those purple skies over the bridge in the distance, but I think Irvine right here has a pretty good claim to the top spot among sunsets, and right now, they've got a pretty good claim to the top spot among teams in the league. Let's look at the road ahead for Orange County. Upcoming schedule brought to you by Destination Irvine. Talked about it a bit in the first half. It is certainly a measuring stick stretch for them coming up. That started tonight against Pittsburgh, and it continues over the next few games, with the exception of maybe the Vegas game in the middle there.
Yeah, absolutely. Charleston Battery, what are they? Second in the East, Sacramento Republic, top of the West. This is going to be a really good test for Orange County and Pittsburgh today. But so far, they're doing all right against Pittsburgh. Las Vegas Lights should be, in theory, a chance to kick back and relax.
You never know.
El Paso has slipped all the way down, so they're going to be desperate. And Colorado Springs switchbacks can be very tricky if they get into the right sort of form.
And then Pittsburgh, on the other hand, same could be said. It's a spot right now where they're going to learn a bit more about themselves. Bob Lilly is eager to see how they navigate this stretch that again started tonight against Orange County. Not easy to go cross-country again against Hartford, but similar to the Vegas game for Orange County, that's one where you should rack up 3 points. But then the big one on the road against San Antonio, that may well be for the top spot in the league, as San Antonio is about to close out the victory over RGV and vault to within a couple of points of Pittsburgh. That could be for the top spot in the league.
Could be, but just be careful of Hartford. They've beaten Hartford in their last match. They play them in that short span of time, and sometimes feelings can still exist, so Hartford will be desperate to get a victory. Plus they need to get a good run, Hartford, to make the playoffs, so that's a tricky one. San Antonio, though, you're right, will be a good measure of who is the top team in the USL.
And we've talked about it enough in this first half. Let's show you it in all of its glory. The power rankings from this past week in USL Championship. It's Orange County 1, it's Pittsburgh 2, and we get to decide between the lines over the next 45 minutes if our dear friend Nicholas Murray got it right as he put this out this week. But just draw your attention to some of those teams in the top 5. Western Conference, Western Conference, Western Conference, Western Conference, for everybody but Pittsburgh in the top 5. The balance of power right now lies in the West.
It certainly does, but the East have a few decent teams. Charleston Battery, Tampa Bay Rowdies, as always, might have something to say about that come end of season.
Mickey Law has kept them going the way it was under Neil Collins. We'll get back to our game in just a moment here. Orange County 1, Pittsburgh nothing. More to come here on the halftime show, brought to you by IPA Physio.
Are you ready? Ready for more of the game you love? Ready for more players and more teams? Ready for more stadiums, for more fans in more cities? This is a different league. The USL Super League. Built for the future of women's soccer. Bridging the journey from youth to pro, connected to the global game, and bringing it all closer to home. Are you ready?
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Sue here gives it a go, and Sue here from distance! How about this start for San Antonio FC? 5 minutes in, they're up 2 goals.
RGV, Davila trying to sneak one in and does! Oh my goodness, RGV, a fantastic goal!
The opportunity for the small business owner with the tax credit is up to $26,000 per employee. Small business owners have been through a lot through the pandemic. They've seen the power of tax credits, government offset through the PPP program. This program, employee retention credit, is much larger than that. And so if you're a small business and you employ folks, you need to be looking at this opportunity to see if you can qualify. But it's definitely something where you need to be talking to your financial advocate or advisor and having them guide you through the process.
The IPA Physio Halftime Show continues. Official physical therapy partner of Orange County SC, who lead 1-0 over the Pittsburgh Riverhounds through 45. And we open it up now to take a broader look around USL Championship with some news and notes. Gary, the news and notes have been flying here with some player acquisitions and some happenings around the league. Of course, we've got Orange County at the top of the food chain right now in the power rankings. But aside from the moves, aside from the results, we've got a historic doubleheader coming up on Saturday on ESPN2. Detroit, Vegas, and San Diego, New Mexico.
Detroit struggling to make the playoffs. That's a vital match for them against bottom of the West, Las Vegas. And same for New Mexico United. They're also just outside the playoffs at the moment. So a very crucial match away at San Diego Loyal.
New Mexico 4 points out of the playoff spot right now, but with a game in hand. Detroit, it's a bit further away. They're 5 points back of FC Tulsa, so they almost have to have that one if they're going to have any chance. As we take a look at the upcoming schedule now for the rest of week 24. Brought to you by Destination Irvine, and my eyes are drawn to the upper right in a game that means something for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds as we get to the weekend with Birmingham and Louisville taking each other on in the middle of the Eastern Conference table right now.
Yeah, Lou City, one of those teams that could catch Pittsburgh if they put a run together. Birmingham slipping down the table. Tampa Bay, another team that could catch Pittsburgh. They're away at FC Tulsa. They've been on a decent run of form recently. Hartford maybe have a last chance saloon against Miami. Let's see if they don't win that. But Pittsburgh coming up next, and Hartford unlikely to make the playoffs. And we mentioned Detroit, how important Las Vegas is. So we're getting to a stage of the season where virtually every game has something riding on it.
RGV might be last chance saloon as well against Phoenix. Talk about their loss tonight against San Antonio as that game did officially go final. Take a look now at the out-of-town scores brought to you by Euro Soccer Trips. And from this past weekend, these are the ones that stuck out before we get to the bottom left there of San Antonio's 2-1 win tonight over RGV. Tampa Bay 4-1 over Monterey Bay. It's a playoff team in the West, and it's a rowdy
battery again. Ben Pearman in his first season at Charleston has done wonders. They're sitting in second position. Last year they didn't even make the playoffs.
Got the 1-0 win over his former NISA team in Detroit City. That must have felt good for him on the road as well. Does it for our IPA Physio Halftime Show. When we come back, highlight stats and kick of half number 2.
A few years ago, I was making cabinets and somebody gave this idea like, hey, why don't you make your beautiful doors to fit IKEA cabinets?
You know, we care about everything that goes into making a door or a panel or a cabinet. Designing a kitchen or even remodeling it, it's a difficult process. We're here to kind of bridge that gap between the vision and realizing that goal.
We're able to make everything in-house, handmade, handcrafted, beautiful product.
When you are killed by a drunk driver, you become nothing but a stick figure on a police report. Your death will be a story never to be told by you, and justice will never be served. Last year, nearly 13,000 stick figures were drawn by officers after a drunk driving fatality. It will take everyone to eliminate drunk driving, so that no one ever has to tell your story from a police report.
Tonight's match is presented by Salvi Law Group, OCSC's official trust and estate law partner of the 2023 season. And once again, the Noah Ben Ardu Foundation wants to remind fans to never drive drunk and get home safely. Take a look at highlights from half number 1. Brought to you by Turf Gym, located in Newport Beach. Early going, the chances really were on Pittsburgh's side.
Yes, some good corners knocked into the near post. O'Donia is just trying a left foot sort of half volley there, and it flies over the crossbar. And it was difficult for Orange County to play out. Ball overturned here, and this is Dickwer. Gets wide and just can't quite get power in it. Perhaps touches the defender's foot and slows it down. But then the big moment of the match, just this one long ball from Owen Lamb all the way through. Have a look at O'Donia as it comes to him. It sort of hits him on his back. He turns his back to Milan Oloski, but how quick was Oloski to bring that under control and stick it past Jamali Waite?
Just so persistent. That ball bounced around, pinballed around off his body, off Ordonez's body, and then just the calmness to put it past one of the top goalkeepers in the league. Take a look at the stats from the first half, brought to you by Salvi Law. Really not a lot going on offensively. The expected goals will paint that picture, but it's 1-0 to Orange County.
Yeah, still felt Pittsburgh had the better of the chances. Some really good near-post corners were put in. There are some questions around the fringes of the box, but expected goals 0.1 for Orange County. Not good. 0.26 for...
You have a player like that make for you. Golden Boot last year, and now again with 11 goals this season. OCSC has new premium seating options for the 2023 season. Our new GA box just above the bleachers and the new field box section is now available. This makes 4 premium seating experiences at the Champ, along with our Cabanas Field MVP seating. Book your experience today at orangecountysoccer.com/premium. And there is a sub, it appears, to get you right out of the gates here for Pittsburgh. It is Robbie Mertz coming on for Joe Farrell. We'll see how that changes things for the Riverhounds in their approach here in the second half. Now down a goal. We know Bob Lilly is always keen on morphing formations as the game dictates it. We'll get Mertz come on for Farrell. See how that changes things. And we are underway in half number 2. With Gary Bailey, I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have you along this evening. Top 2 teams in the USL Power Rankings. Orange County on top in the rankings and on top in this game. 1-0 ahead of the Riverhounds. 2 changes to get you from the Orange County side as well, as Shuttler comes out of his 18 to clear this one. Andrew Fox into the match, as is Bryce Jamieson. 2 players coming off, Kevin Langford and Ryan Dogman. All substitutions brought to you by MedEquip, turning setbacks into comebacks.
Well, I didn't see much from Kevin Langford in the first half, so not surprised he comes off. And as mentioned, so excited to see Bryce Jamieson come on. He is extremely quick. And when he gets on the ball, if he gets a bit of space, he's going to cause Pittsburgh a whole ton of problems. Of course, looking at Robbie Mertz on the other side. Joey Farrell was on a yellow card, so it makes sense to get him off. And probably gone to a flat back 4. Ordonez and DeSantis, the centre halves, Rivera and Etu, the 2 full backs. And then you've got an extra man in midfield with Robbie Mertz, someone who can push forward and create chances.
Sent ahead to Among. They were happy to reacquire Robbie Mertz last July, Pittsburgh, after he had gone away to Atlanta United. Brought him back in the fold last July. He's been a mainstay ever since. I mentioned that tonight was the 100th USL Championship appearance for Katie Griffin on the Pittsburgh side, as he comes in as a sub now. It's also the 100th appearance for Andrew Fox on the Orange County side. A couple of milestones out there tonight.
Well, I don't think it'll be the end of the subs. Just looking at the bench for Orange County, Brian Olowski's there. You've got to fancy that he can do something. If he comes on, Seska Sipley will bring fresh legs into midfield, and certainly for Bob Lilly. At some point, Shawami and Dikwa might tire. He's got Edward Kiza, Juan Obregon Jr., even with the likes of a Luke Biasi or a Trevor Svetsluot out wide as a fullback, getting up and down the line. So still lots of players that could have an impact on this game.
Sent long to Jamison, has a Mong back post, sends it that way. Not enough on the pass to get it through.
He's been on the pitch a couple of minutes, hasn't he, Bryce Jamison already? Gets the ball down there and starts to cause problems. Very tall player, already been called up to the USA U17 squad on 2 occasions, but he's got that blistering pace that almost sort of makes you think of a very famous forward at PSG, who's very, very quick as well, Mbappe. I don't want to put pressure on him too much, but yes, he's got that ability to suddenly accelerate and leave defenders behind. We could be looking at a future star of American football in Bryce Jamison.
It's not a bad player to be compared to, not by any stretch of the imagination. A little familiar opponent for him tonight as well, Bryce Jamison. That maybe holds a special place in his heart. Remember, he signed late last September his official pro contract for Orange County, and the next day he debuted as a substitute on the road against Pittsburgh. So again, coming on as a sub against the team he debuted against less than a year ago. Here's Shawunmi. Still Shawunmi, pokes it through, comes out for Ibarra. Mark Ibarra lines it up, and it's over the bar. Not a bad effort from the Pittsburgh midfielder.
Not a bad effort, but you've still got to hit target for me. It was bending high and wide. A lot of work done by Shawunmi. Ball gets cleared. You've got time. Settle yourself. Now pick your spot. Keep it low. Make the goalkeeper work. In the end, Colin Shuttler very happy to wave that one past.
Ryan Dogman has been a starter 20 times this year for Orange County. So him being subbed off at the half maybe isn't too much of a cause for concern. Maybe just a rough night for him after he's been so consistent this season. But maybe a little more cause for pause in the case of Kevin Langford getting his first start tonight after coming on loan. Never felt like he found the game or found the rhythm with his teammates.
Which is surprising because he's got a good track record in Bundesliga 2 and Bundesliga 3. Those are decent levels of football. I would have thought he'd come on and you know, and boss the game around a little bit, show some nice touches. But maybe it's a case of settling in. It's, you know, it's a difference from Bundesliga, and you don't know your teammates that well.
Just arrived on July 25th. Not even a month that he's been here. You do have to give him the benefit of that doubt at least. I'm sure the last 11 days without a match for Langford have mainly been probably just getting moved in and getting acquainted with the United States and the teammates. It's one that if he catches fire and peaks at the right moment going into September and October, it could be all the difference for this Orange County side. You wonder at what point maybe tonight we do see Cam Dunbar as well. Just acquired on loan yesterday from Minnesota United. Over the top for Dikwa, into the arms of Shuttler, rolled out quickly.
Still that pressure coming from Pittsburgh up front. They do love to hunt, they do love to get turnover ball in dangerous positions. Look at this, they hurry you up. There you go, winning the ball. Unfortunately, promptly giving it away, but look at the number of yellow shirts in their half when they do get the ball. Very impressive when they push up high and press.
Here's that to now Canardo Forbes, cuts it inside. Forbes picks out Ibarra, chipped ahead. Dos Santos. Really haven't called the name Canardo Forbes much tonight, aside from set pieces. Not as involved as we typically see him for Pittsburgh. Sent in from out wide by Rivera. Now Dos Santos has Forbes to his left. and sends it that way. King Kenny lofts it in. It falls for Etu. Nobody's settling it right now in the box. It finally falls for Etu, and it's out harmlessly for a goal kick. Fans, there's still time to go and check out all the new merchandise for 2023. New women's collection, new sweatshirts, and new OCSC quarter zip. Head over to OCSCshop.com to grab yours today.
Well, besides this being a big test for Orange County in terms of taking on the leaders in the East, we did ask Morten Carlson what he wanted more from his side. And given that they've had such a good run, he doesn't need much, actually, but the one thing he would want is more clean sheets. Well, if they keep a clean sheet today, they're going to have a full 3 points. So, again, when you're 1-0 up and you've got to defend against these strikers from Pittsburgh, a clean sheet is good proof that you have good defensive structure. Long way to go yet before they get that clean sheet, though.
Ibarra. Forbes. Moved into a tie tonight with Josh Suggs of New Mexico for 254 appearances. That's second all-time in USL Championship history. Robbie Mertz with it now. Ibarra. Mertz looks over his shoulder, sees Rivera, plays it centrally instead. Sustained attack here from Pittsburgh. Dos Santos chips it. Flicked away by Powers. Here's Forbes, sets it up. Gerardo Forbes doesn't score often. When he does, they're usually bangers, but this one out instead for a corner.
Yeah, he's a dangerous player. When he gets the ball on the edge of the box, I do expect him to hit target. Decent ball in. Robbie Mertz does great there because he does play it. He knows that Gerardo Forbes is inside there. And King Kenny just sticking it over the crossbar. Would expect him to hit the target, but perhaps the deflection is what took it off the direction he wanted it to be in. Once again, the pressure building, as it did first half. It was a lot of good pressure from set pieces from Pittsburgh, but they just couldn't get anything from it.
Short on the corner from Mertz. Back out his way, Mertz floats it. The glancing header from Ordonez, way off target. Recovered on the backside by Forbes. Give and go, it's Forbes to the end line. Forbes puts it in front. Comes out for a drive well wide, slicing the whole way from Danny Griffin.
Again, good chance for Danny Griffin. He had time just to settle himself, could pick his spot. Got power behind it, but unfortunately, it just bent away. So again, he's had a chance, and you've seen Gerardo Forbes have a chance. One or two others, Mark Ibarra's had a shot. None of them have hit target. I need that quality now, do the Riverhounds.
Dequa trying to push his way through. And his pressure as well to win the throw. Haven't seen Orange County get the ball across the halfway line much in this second half.
Yeah, basically, if you take that goal by Milan Oloski away, they haven't done much, have they? And yet they've looked comfortable on the ball. They haven't been sort of early in the season. They would be a little bit skittish, but they look. This is what Morten Carlson's managed to do. They just feel confident that no matter what they're doing, it's going to work.
2 shots, 2 on target. That's it, and 1 being the goal. Morten Carlson, as you mentioned, Gary, wants to see the clean sheet tally rise, and maybe on a night like this where things haven't been going your way offensively, maybe it's just the 1 goal you're capable of mustering. Which means you got to keep the 0 if you want all 3 points. A good test over the next 35 minutes for this Orange County side.
Yeah, Morton Carlson, Manager of the Month for July. The first manager, I believe, in Orange County history to get the Manager of the Month award, and quite rightly so. The way he's turned this team around has been absolutely stunning from those early days of Richard Chapler. Unfortunately for Richard, it didn't quite work out after his stunning win 2 years ago to be the champion. So it just shows you the highs and lows of being a manager or a coach when it comes to soccer.
I mentioned it in the first half that the stars are kind of aligning the way they did 2 years ago, and that's right down to the midseason coaching change for Orange County as well. It is an eerie parallel that'll have fans excited. Over the top to Rivera. Still a long way to go, though, to see if it's the same ending for Orange County. Among. Seth Kasipli will be the next man on for Orange County. Up and ready at the halfway line, and it looks like that change will come here. Brought to you by MedEquip. Kyle Scott will exit. Seth Kasipli will enter.
Good first half by Kyle Scott. I thought he really just bossed it around at the back, and you could see a number of times you pointed out that he was looking for people to pass to, but he was never afraid to get on the ball, and been a lot quieter in the second half. So perhaps that's one of the reasons for the change.
Forbes. More central now for Conrado Forbes. Had been out on that left flank most of the match. You wonder as this goes further along and Pittsburgh sees more of the ball, pressing for this goal. If Bob Lilly slides Forbes inside. Those two have a long history together. He's almost the coach on the field, and Bob Lilly trusts him with just about everything. And here he is again centrally. Forbes lurking, waiting for that ball back, and now a free kick on the way for Pittsburgh. A very dangerous spot for Conrado Forbes.
Yeah, Robbie Mertz making a big difference in here. To your point, he does allow Conrado Forbes to go forward because he's now an extra man in midfield when they went from 5 at the back to just 4. So another free kick. If you add together the corners and free kicks they've had in this match, Pittsburgh, it's probably quite a few, and there have been some decent balls in. There just nothing has fallen for the visiting team as yet.
Three corners and now 8 free kicks.
Wow.
14 total crosses they've gotten off in this match. Forbes drives it in. It's going through, but Among headed it centrally to keep it alive. The foul goes against Pittsburgh. Orange County returns to the champ on Saturday, August 19th against the Charleston Battery for our end of summer beer fest. Several sections have already sold out. Get your tickets today at orangecountysoccer.com/tickets. Hour gone, half hour remains. Orange County clinging to the 1-0 lead bestowed upon them by Milan Alaski back in the 40th minute. It's his only shot of the match. It's really the only time he's popped up in a dangerous position, but he made it count. His 11th tally of the season.
I was just looking at some of his stats, Milan Alaski. 30 regular season goals in 51 games for Orange County. I mean, that is a stunning return. Absolutely brilliant. Now top scorer in the history of Orange County, beating a certain Michael Seaton. Not a bad person to be ahead.
Now everybody's looking up at Alaski, and something tells me he's not done scoring on the season.
He's just 24 years of age. If he keeps this going, I mean, I'm surprised he's still in the USL, to be honest.
Played through for Among. Cleared away by Waite. That's sort of the double-edged sword, I suppose, of this league. Once you get a player who's in here scoring that much, you're afraid he's going to move on and take that next step up the ladder. It's what Ronaldo Damas did right here for Orange County a couple of years ago. Moved on to Sweden. Now he's back with San Diego on loan. But once you accomplish all of that, and you look to move on. Kobe Henry, same thing here for Orange County. Not too long ago. You wonder if Alaski is next, but tell you what, while he's been here, he's given these fans plenty to cheer about. And he's given opposing coaches plenty to lose sleep over. At this moment, Orange County sneaks up into the all-important 4th place spot in the West. That is the last team that will host a playoff game in the first round. It would be 1 point clear of San Diego, although San Diego has a game in hand, so that is far from decided, that 4th place spot. But Orange County, the way they're playing, they have loftier aspirations than that, to be sure. It'd be tied now with Oakland on 37 points as well. And for the first time in a while, we'll see a card in this match. Saw it early to Joey Farrell.
It's a silly one. It's a silly one for just kicking the ball away. Once the referee blows the whistle, if it's for the opposing side, you just got to leave the ball alone. You know, now that wasn't given a yellow. That was there we go. Just kick the ball away, and that's what picks up the yellow, not the tackle.
And it's the silly ones that always feel like they come back to haunt you late in matches.
Yeah. And when they do, that's when you get annoyed with yourself for the original silly one.
Chance in transition here, and these guys can fly. Jamison looking through for Olaski, dummy through for Among. It slowly gets there. The shot deflected, out for a corner. We weren't slowing that down for you. We could do that on the replay. We can't do it to live action, but somehow it got through to Among.
This is when you got this pace that Jamison brings. You got Milanolowski's cleverness to let this go, and Thomas Among's power. The 3 of them up front. Yeah, a really frightening combination.
Right in front of the County Line Coalition. Can they make it 2? Out for a handball, waved off immediately and emphatically by Brad Jensen. Dequa. Forbes. Back over the top for Dequa. There's just nowhere for him to turn. He didn't have the numbers, didn't have the support. Ordonez looking for Rivera. This game feels like it's begging for an Edward Kizza on the Pittsburgh side, just to give them something fresh up top. Remember, just a couple of days removed from the weekend match at Hartford, cross-country flight. While Morten Carlson said that's no excuse in a league like this, people have to deal with travel all the time. Human nature says it might have something of a factor, and that's when you bring in a guy like Kizza late.
Yes, and Juan Obregon Jr. as well. Much smaller figure than the 2 players they have at the moment in Shawamni and Dequa, so it's a different challenge for the Orange County central defender, someone small, sharp. In the last match against Hartford, he won a penalty and scored it, Juan Obregon Jr. So he certainly, I would think, will be a factor in the last sort of 20 minutes or so. I'm sure Bob Lilly is just busy now thinking of some of those changes.
Bob Lilly was effusive in his praise of Juan Obregon Jr., bringing him over in the last couple of weeks. He's played 5 matches now, and he's left a good first impression for the Riverhounds. Early returns show that he's a different player profile up top than what they already have in Dequa and Shawunmi, and Kizza brings something else to the table. Can drop it underneath, help link up the play. He's got a nose for goal. Ibarra puts a swipe in and takes down Andrew Fox. Call for the foul.
There's been a lot of pressure coming from Pittsburgh, but you wonder now for Orange County, have they weathered that storm? Can they just keep some possession, knock it around, start to get more control over this match?
Played through for Among. He's deflected out for a corner here. Chana who took the strike. swung in. And dealt with by Pittsburgh. With the live still, Chana on the turn. As she's Chana forced end line. Over the top from Lamb, the header, it's off of Veloski. Looked like it was going wide, but Veloski couldn't do anything with it.
Okay, by the way, Owen Lamb's ball in there was absolutely fantastic. Whipped in and a dangerous ball. Here comes another one.
Space for Robbie Mertz. Quickly closed down and possession lost. And the flag does come up here on Among.
Here's this turn and hit, shots are going wide. And have a look at Lamb when he gets this ball in from a difficult position. Whips it, it drops. Good header. Just hits his own player there and comes away. So a good chance there, good little half chance for Orange County. And that's what they do. They soak up the pressure, they defend nice and deep, and then when they do get forward, they try and cause problems.
Ibarra for Rivera. The bicycle kick is wide from Dikwa.
Wow, if that goes in, that is one of the goals. Wasn't easy, it was low down. Ibarra with the ball wide. Gets headed, or rather played back in, and straight away goes, it comes off his shin more than anything else, as opposed to his foot. But the speed of reactions to try that, nearly pulls it off. It just hasn't been their day in front of goal, has it, the Riverhounds so far anyway, but now the changes you mentioned look like they're coming on.
Obregon, Kiza, come on. Okay, Rivera, first player to give way. Tola Shawunmi the other. So Kiza, Obregon on, Rivera, Shawunmi off.
That's three good strikers they have on the pitch now, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, with Dikwa and Kisa and one Obregon Jr. That's going to be a handful for Orange County.
Etu, he gets by Lamb, taken down edge of the area, free kick, not a penalty. Just outside the area, fell into the box, but a free kick here for Pittsburgh and a yellow card shown.
Yep, contact was outside the box, but risky one there by young Bryce Jamison.
Yellow card brought to you by SoCal Gas. Jamison and Partita, each with one out there for Orange County. Looks like it's just going to be a one-man wall for Orange County. And Bernardo Forbes is not one to be shy from trying to sneak this one near post on Colin Shuttler, if that's the case. Brent Richards comes on now for Chana. It's brought to you by MediQuip.
All the experience of Brent Richards just to try and hold on to this one-goal lead makes a lot of sense.
Entering the match, number 16, Brent Richards.
32 years of age, been around the block a few times and been a really, really good player in his career.
What does Bernardo Forbes have up his sleeve this time? Forbes drives it in front. Was it saved or headed wide? It doesn't matter, the offside flag came up. Players were looking around to see who it came off of last. Referees were looking around and determined that it was offside.
It did seem a little bit easy because the ball just got whipped in straight to a Pittsburgh player. Let's have a look at here. Yes, just you can see that yellow shirt just ahead of all the others. That's why it looks so easy. Still think it was a good save from the keeper.
Just can't at this stage of the match afford to give Bernardo Forbes that sort of ability around the box on a free kick. He might pay for it. Cabanas are back again for the 2023 season. Don't miss out on the fun and exclusive amenities they have to offer. This cabana is designed specifically with group outings in mind, include 20 match tickets, a private bar for you and your guests. You can book your premium experience today at orangecountysoccer.com/premium. Shuttler sends it long. Bounces for Amang. Ranging ahead, it's Owen Lamb. Lamb end line to the back post. Dealt with by Pittsburgh. This is going to be a test for Orange County. Can they post a clean sheet? Morten Carlson wants them to post. Get back to those defensive ways. As of late, he's very happy with what they've done offensively, but it's maybe come at the expense of some attention to detail defensively. Not tonight. They've been on top of their game defensively. Quarter of an hour remains. They lead 1-0. With Gary Bailey, I'm Joe Malfa. Happy to have had you along this evening for a clash of the top two teams in this week's power rankings. Orange County, #1, hottest team in the league, and Pittsburgh, #2, top of the Eastern Conference. Forbes. Representing your favorite USL Championship team as part of the USL Esports Hub launching next week. Join a Konami eFootball tournament on Xbox, PlayStation, or mobile by visiting rivalgames.com/play/USL to get started. What's it going to take to get Gary Bailey on the gaming system?
Oh, just 15 minutes left to go, and they've done so well, Orange County, but you just feel that Riverhounds are really probing around the edge of the box here. Free kicks. It just takes one mistake, doesn't it, inside the box to give away a penalty, a handball, deflected shot, but they're very deep, Orange County. Really low block here, final third of the pitch. But so far, well, that could be a yellow card.
Yeah,
so far, they've done it well, Orange County.
At this point in time, this would be the 21st match out of 26 matches where Pittsburgh has either kept a clean sheet or allowed only one goal.
Wow.
That's only 5 games this season. They've allowed 2 or more. They're in it every single time. Always give themselves a chance to earn a result. But can they make it count on the offensive end now? And at the very least, take a point from this one. (21 of 26). That is staggering. 12 of those clean sheets. And at this point, 9 would be 1-goal games that they've allowed.
You can see why, because when they do go 1-0 down, they're dominating so much in the second half now. They've pinned Orange County back, which they did for a fair portion of the first half as well. That's how good they are. They high pressure you, they get turnover ball, they give very little away in defense. I mean, just one moment of magic from Milan Oloski and perhaps a bit of questionable defending from Ordonez.
Questionable tackle there from Martina, who's already on a yellow. I think he's lucky to still be in this game. I think he's very lucky to still be in this game.
Let's have a look at the tackle. Yeah, now you go back to the first half when Joey Farrell got the yellow card for something very similar late. That, to me, is a yellow card.
And remember, it's always the silly one that comes back to bite you. He's on a yellow because of the silly one he picked up about 20 minutes ago for kicking the ball away.
And if he wasn't on that yellow, I'm pretty sure he would have got it. I do think some referees are a little bit more careful giving the second yellow, and I can understand why, because it does mean you exit the pitch. But that's a very risky and a very poor tackle from Kevin Partida.
Now it's Griffin. Wide for Mertz. Bodies in yellow, located centrally, whipped in. It held strong defensively, Orange County. That was the 16th cross attempt for Pittsburgh. And you really have to rack your brain to find any that yielded any sort of opportunity. We'll have another chance here, though, from a free kick out wide.
Another kick away of a ball, and guess what? It's another silly yellow.
That one goes for Richards. And between Richards and Partida, two veterans that you don't expect that from.
The thing with Canado Forbes, we've seen him put a lot of corners and free kicks in. He does it extremely well. Eventually, you fancy one of them is going to land to the feet of one of those three strikers that Pittsburgh currently have on their pitch, on the pitch.
Luke Biasi, Trevor Zwetsloot come on. And Forbes, one of the players coming off with Junior Eto. So wipe that clean. Don't have to worry about the Canado Forbes set pieces anymore.
So just take back what I said about Forbes being dangerous.
Sent in nonetheless. Comes out to Biasi, end line. And a goal kick is the call here.
Colin Shuttler just taking his time, as he's entitled to, up to a certain degree. Just confirmation of those subs, as we thought that they would all come on and play a part, especially that Orange County have had a bit more time off, 11 days, compared to just a few days for Pittsburgh, so you are likely to rotate and get fresh legs on.
All subs brought to you by MediQuip. Orange County looking for the insurance goal now. Maybe the only surprising sub in there as this is out for a goal kick is Forbes. And maybe that's where cross-country trip on short rest takes its toll, because in a 1-0 game where every little thing, every little set piece matters, I don't think that Bob Lilly, if he had his druthers, would have liked to take off Canado Forbes. He must have been as heavy-legged as you could be.
I think also at 35 years of age, he probably can't last a full 90 minutes, and he's got to think of the next match and the next one, and making sure that Canado Forbes remains fit right to the end of the season. So there is a sort of a case of minute management, they call it, managing the minutes of players. And that's what takes a lot more thinking. People watching can say, well, why this sub, why that? But managers are weighing up constantly the entire season and the weeks ahead.
Among's night is done.
Entering the match and making his OCSC debut, number 12,
Cameron Dunbar will make his Orange County debut. Just loaned yesterday for the remainder of the season from Minnesota. And Dunbar is back in USL Championship, where he scored a dozen goals in 33 games last year for LA Galaxy 2. With those last changes there from Pittsburgh and Dunbar for Orange County, both teams have used all 5 subs and are out of stock tonight. Jamison whistled for the foul. He is on a yellow as well. Jamison, Richards, Partida, the 3 on yellows for Orange County. Only Mark Ibarra on 1 for Pittsburgh. Orange County SC's 4th annual Corporate Cup returns in 2023. Don't miss out on your chance to play where the pros play with your office. Sign up today at orangecountysoccer.com/corporate-cup. Neither side has a shot on target in the second half. There's 2 shots on target each in the first half. Here in the second, 2 shots for Orange County, 5 shots for Pittsburgh. Grand total of 0 of those 7 on target.
Which is more of a concern for Pittsburgh because they need to get the equalizer. They've been on the front foot. They've had more chances around goal. And that'll be a concern for Bob Lilly. And it goes back to his previous point about winning games 1-0. He wants to see them win 2 and 3. He wants to see them score plenty of goals. And it's not like they don't have players up front who can score. I mean, Dikwa, Shawunmi, now one Carlos Obregon Jr. And of course, Edward Keyser. But it's just not happening for them as much as Bob Lilly would like. And I think today's been a good example of that. Lots of pressure, lots of ball around the fringes and the edge of the box, but no final product. As yet.
Still time enough. Also still time for Orange County to tack onto its lead. And a corner on the way to try and do just that.
Again, no rush from the home side. They'll take their time, managing the clock now as they can see the end in sight, so every bit of time they can take off the clock is to their benefit.
Owen Lamb put in a very dangerous corner last time he had a chance. See what he has up his sleeve this time. Again, it's a good ball. Headed away. Ordonez and volleyed back in just high. Struck well by Kasipli out of the air.
It's a really good strike from Seth Kasipli. He wasn't far away. And it's a high degree of difficulty, that volley from outside the box. And he gets the dip. Lovely ball in again from Owen Lamb. Gets well headed out. Now look at that. Sets himself up. Just gets a little bit too much height on it, but very good connection, though.
There's Kasipli. 5 to play here in Irvine, plus whatever stoppage time has in store. Partita. It's sent ahead toward Jamieson. Jamali Waite is there.
That was nearly a great ball, and I can understand the logic of trying to get it out to Jamieson in space. He was just marked, though, by 2 Pittsburgh defenders, but the idea from Orange County was good.
Catch the first ESPN2 USL doubleheader on Saturday when Detroit City plays host to Las Vegas Lights. Action heads west to see San Diego Loyo welcome New Mexico United at 7:30 Eastern, all on ESPN2. Kowalski down after that last challenge, right down in the quadrant of the field. It's the County Line Coalition, and they wanted a foul called as their talisman was brought to the ground.
The referee saying, do you want treatment? And if so, you're going to have to go off the pitch at some stage. Milan Orlowski says, no, thank you. It's I can run it off. Just a coming together. I don't think there was a trip at all. It certainly didn't seem like it was intentional. Just a coming together of legs. Is that the mascot in the background?
Well, he's always smiling, but plenty of reason for the fans to be down the stretch here. Pittsburgh wants to change that. Mertz, end line, serves it up, headed away by Powers. Here's Dunbar. Welcome to Orange County. Cam Dunbar, a nice run ahead, finds Zalowski.
was a good run from Cameron Dunbar, wasn't it? In the end, Milanowski deciding just to keep possession, play it back, and that's what they're going to do, work that clock down. But lovely jinking run through midfield, and if he can provide more of that, Cameron Dunbar is going to be a really good signing for Morten Carlson.
Jamali Wade, watch out. Took it right into Jamison, somehow got out of it. A little part of you dies, I think, Gary, every time you see a goalkeeper do that.
I can't believe goalkeepers take so many risks. But look at this. A lovely run from Cameron Dunbar, jinking right, left, and creates an opportunity. But Milanowski, I guess sensibly, just playing it back and just keeping possession. Here it is. And if it's on, play it, but then don't try and dribble your way out of trouble. But he gets away with it. Credit to him.
Type of stuff that'll drive you mad if it ends up in the back of your own net.
That's always the problem, isn't it? The players can make mistakes up front, and there's a long way to go before it's a goal. But as a keeper, you make one error, chances are it's in the back of the net.
.90 seconds remaining of the 90, then we'll see what we have on the other side with stoppage time. For now told, it'll be 4 minutes. So all told, you figure about 5 minutes for Pittsburgh right now to find an equalizer.
Well, they've taken on the powerhouse in the East. They've scored a good goal by who else? Milanowski. They've been able to defend, soak up pressure, and as of this point, they've got themselves a clean sheet. So that measuring stick, that word that Morten Carlson learned, well, so far they're measuring up.
Have to get right back at it this weekend against another top team in the East in Charleston. They could just pretend it's still Pittsburgh, though, with the black and yellow. Try to run it back. No shots on target for either side yet in this second half. Last chance saloon maybe coming up here for Pittsburgh. Comes all the way back for Ibarra. Deflected and saved by Shuttler. The first save he's had to make in the second half.
I think I took a deflection on the way, which just slowed it down nicely for Shuttler to get down comfortably and make the save. But at least it's an attempt by Ibarra, but really didn't pressurize the goalkeeper too much. And now he's asking for a break from the referee to deal with injury.
And now confirmed 4 minutes of stoppage time. And going forward this season, if you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus, you can hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
Managed to get a bit more time off the clock there to Colin Shuttler. Just waiting for the ball to be dropped so that he could then continue play. The kick isn't good, though.
All that for that. He's lucky that it would have been a terrific margin offside for Juan Obregon, who had to just let it be. And it came right back to him. He was offside by about 25 yards, not expecting that to play out the way it did. Here's Danny Griffin. Can they get something on goal here, Pittsburgh? Ibarra trying to do just that. Going the wrong way as Dos Santos has to retreat. Dos Santos rolling it ahead for Kizza. And carelessly given away for a corner. Will that come back to haunt Orange County?
That's another set piece for Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and they really haven't got much joy out of anything as yet. And they've got decent enough players in the box, the likes of Adonez, Dos Santos, all big guys. Dikwa.
Delivery from Mertz to the back post. Doesn't get there. Shuttler had it lined up.
Good goalkeeping, under pressure, crucial time in the match. Come and take it, slow the entire game down. You know, if you punch that, then there's still a scramble. If you don't get the ball, there's a chance, but you come and take it. It just absolutely kills the game, stone dead.
Recovered by Obregon. Dequa couldn't handle it. Neither could Kiza. And cleared again to safety. 90 seconds remaining of stoppage time. It's Cameron Dunbar. Wisely taking it toward the corner. Lost it. Couldn't quite get all the way. Dos Santos.
Just not their day, the Riverhounds.
It slipped through by Lamb. Chipped ahead to Cameron Dunbar. Dunbar on debut, denied by Waite. There he is again, Dunbar. Tried the back heel for Alaski, not on the same page. But with the ball at this end of the field, and 30 seconds to go, I think it's safe to say Orange County's done the job tonight.
Yep, they have. It's been a tough one for the Riverhounds. They've had more chances, but Milan Orlowski's one little moment of magic and some great defending by Orange County has seen them through to these 3 points, you would think. Riverhounds will look back and say they've created chances, they probably dominated the shots on target, free kicks, possession, etc. They just couldn't find a way through an excellent Orange County defense, which, going back to 2 years ago, was exactly how they won the USL Championship. Then, game after game, they drew 0-0, 1-0, one on penalties in so many of those playoff games, all because they had a fantastic defense, Orange County.
4 minutes have come and gone. All eyes now on our referee. So one last chance here going forward for Pittsburgh. There's your final whistle. The winning streak reaches 5 for Orange County. They've won 9 of 11. And once again, it's Milan Orlowski who supplies the game winner. The hottest team in USL Championship stays hot, and Orange County takes all 3 points from Pittsburgh.
And on top of Milan Orlowski's fantastic finish, it's a clean sheet, exactly what Morten Carlson wanted. Great defending, wonderful finish from Orlowski with one of the few chances that came that way. And well, they've got some big teams to play next in Charleston and Sac Republic, but the way they're going, this team, and the togetherness and the fact that Morten Carlson has turned them around, who's to say they can't go on higher and higher in the West.
And Orlowski is tonight's man of the match, brought to you by Uber Eats. 11th goal of the season to make it 1-0, and it stayed that way for 50 minutes. His goal came back in the 40th. He does it time and again. Had 22 goals last year, has 11 goals this year, and it's just everything continuing to funnel through that man.
You can see Bob Lillies walk up and say, well done, Milan Orlowski, because as he told us in our chat, he's the man to look out for, and he's the man who makes the difference today.
Final score brought to you by True Path Loans. Orange County 1, Pittsburgh 0. It was a battle of the top 2 teams in the power rankings, and the #1 team will remain so for another week, it appears, after tonight's win. We wrap it up from Irvine in just a moment.
Every person has inherent existing potential. Each one of us can move better, feel better, and perform better. Our goal is to create a movement culture that facilitates thriving, challenges the norms, and optimizes the human experience by providing the highest quality physical therapy. Whether you're returning to sport or simply seeking to live your best life, reimagine physical therapy. Discover your potential.
It wasn't the prettiest overall for Orange County, but they got the job done. Kept the clean sheet that Morton Carlson wanted as he walks off the pitch with the man who supplied the goal in Milan Alaski. The 1-0 victory for OCSC over the Riverhounds. Take a look at the full-time highlights to show you how they got the job done tonight. Highlights are brought to you by Turf Gym located in Newport Beach. This was it. This was the moment. 40th minute. Milan Alaski gets the lone tally.
Yeah, long ball from Owen Lamb here. And Ordonez turns his back on play. And have a look. It hits the centre back on his back. By the time he figures out where the ball is, Milan Alaski's got it on his right foot. Sticks it in the corner, as he does so well when he gets any half chance, and puts it past Jamali Waite. And then Riverhounds try to get back on track. They had a couple of shots from outside the box. Canado Forbes has one here that gets it over the bar. There was one from Mark Ibarra, went wide. There was another one too, but they just couldn't really hit target hits. Here's Mark Ibarra just knocking the ball wide. Knocks in straight away. Overhead kick coming in, but that off the shin also goes wide from our main man up front, Albadikwa. And then, to be fair to Orange County, they could have gone further ahead. This one here from Seth Kasipli, not a bad strike, just a yard or so over the crossbar.
And then in the closing moments, you could have had a debut goal for Cameron Dunbar for Orange County. That's a name to remember as this season goes on. He's going to be such a difference maker. Brought him in on loan yesterday from Minnesota United. Was denied by Jamali Waite. As we take a look at our full-time stats by Sylvia Law Group, it paints a picture of what was really a tight game of defense-first mentality from both teams. Gary, the grand total of expected goals in this game, actually it just went up a little bit. 0.93 was the combined expected goals in this game.
They got about right. There was one goal, so, but you can see slightly more shots for Pittsburgh. An extra one on target for Pittsburgh, a ton of corners and free kicks. They really didn't get much off. I would have thought with Ordonez there, who's normally a good header of the ball, they would have had more from those set pieces. But in the end, Orange County took the one big chance that came their way. They defended superbly, which is what Morton Carlson, the big change is made to Orange County. And as we start to head toward playoffs, you've got to say that they are the informed team, and they are looking really good.
They will host the Charleston Battery this weekend. Pittsburgh goes back across the country to visit Hartford Athletic. We knew it'd be a terrific matchup coming into the night. Orange County, #1 in the power rankings. Pittsburgh, #2. And at the end of the evening, it was once again Orange County on top of Pittsburgh to the 1-0 scoreline. That does it for us from Irvine. For the crew that makes this possible, and my broadcast partner, Gary Bailey, I'm Joe Malva saying good night from Championship Soccer Stadium. Orange County takes all 3 points over the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.